God is good, and with each day that passes brings us a day closer to the launch of Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. If you are new here, please consider subscribing, especially if you're interested in Pantheon related content on our march to launch. Today I want to talk to you about the May update 2020, which actually has some huge news. I'm going to start with that. They have announced that the pre-alpha 5, which by the way is the last pre-alpha unless something crazy happens, right? As long as everything goes according to plan, this is the last pre-alpha, and it is about to begin. They said they will let us know a few weeks prior, so we can kind of be prepared for that before those sessions start, and before the actual open pre-alpha begins, for everybody that's eligible to get into that through pledge packages, etc., that there will be some focus tests where they'll focus on certain key things, etc., before it's more open and allowing us to play it more organically. Now, some of you may say, well, they didn't specifically say that this was the last pre-alpha. Well, they said it before. They've actually mentioned that pre-alpha 5 would probably be the last pre-alpha, and then Benjamin Dean, in the newest producer's letter, did say this is an important part of the process because we need to ensure everything works on a massive live scale before we can stamp it ready for alpha consideration. When they talked earlier about, keep in mind there are internal dates, right? We don't know all the dates, but they do, and they keep saying, oh, we're on schedule. You know, they got a little off schedule at the beginning of 2019-ish, but it looks like they've caught up. You know, they hired people and everything, and it looks like they're caught back up and meeting their internal dates, but they've known for a while now that pre-alpha 5 would be most likely, by the way everything was laid out and by the way they're developing the game, their last one before they move into alpha. So it looks like we're almost there. Now moving on, let's talk about some of the patch notes, some of the other things that they've been up to lately. So for world building, the world origin has been established, center of the world located, and all zones oriented around it properly. They've also split large zones into multiple zones to improve load times, more real-world zone aggro behavior. Performance is huge for this game, and I remember hearing earlier them talking about some of these gargantuan zones. They've split them up a little bit because it improved frames per second and load times and everything by a lot. And that's huge for this game. They want it to run buttery smooth. Most people who've already gotten the game and played it will agree that the game already in previous builds ran really good, considering it wasn't even done being optimized by a long shot, right? But they're not happy with runs good. They want it to run buttery smooth, and that is important for an MMO. When everything runs smooth and you got a really good frame rate and there's not that UI lag or any of that, man, the game just feels so much better. So very important, and I'm actually glad to hear that. On April the 7th, the Merc and Silent Plains went online. The new Black Rose Keep location and supporting environment, which is interesting. They got a new location for Black Rose Keep. They've updated the Mad Run Cave system. They've added new orc models, and they were talking about that on the last live stream. And they're really excited about how that looked. Now, we haven't got to see that yet, but I'm sure we will soon, and I'll definitely cover that. And I thought the orcs looked pretty darn good before, so I don't know what they've done now. Now, as far as systems go, game-wide stat overhaul, full deep stat integration. Also on April 8th, everything is climbable. I've got a whole video about that. If you want to dive deeper into that, check out my channel. Here recently, I did a whole video about that. First passive mastery experience game. And also they've done the first pass of the new character inventory, which is a gray box at this time. The inventory is a different layout, and they've also got the final art for that. They've also done a massive amount of progress on the quests and perception system. They actually mentioned they put the quests and everything online. In other words, it's all tied into the game now. And Benjamin Dean quotes that it was like the soul was born in the game once that went live, and it feels so good. And as you can imagine, like the game took its first breath. And on the programming side, they've got the small refactor around ability cast canceling. They've done a fix to critical hit damage bonus from attack and spell power. New spell power conversion for damage and healing numbers. Formula scaling for intended top end of attack and spell power numbers at max level before buffs. Heals can now properly show up as crits in scrolling combat text. The first passive partial resist for spell damage based on target resistance. The Aura controller performance improvements. They fixed a bug where procs could trigger themselves to proc again, creating an infinite proc loop. They fixed a bug that was removing passives on login, efficiency upgrades for NPC wander behavior, small tweaks to move around. They fixed the melee animation being overridden from the entity status type changes. April 9th, they did the first round of AI pathing robustness updates. The NPC chat bubbles are hooked up, adjusted NPC hitboxes across the board to make selecting, looting smaller NPCs easier. Thanks for looking into that, I hate that in games. The NPC AI and threat refactor. As far as animations, they've done rounds of polish on one-hand slashing or blunt and one-hand piercing auto attacks. They got a new /cheer, /wave, and /conversate emotes for dialogue with NPCs. They've done the Monk Unique Combat Idol, main offhand auto attacks, Flurry Punch, Gale Kick, Blazing Hand Strike, and I can't wait to see those new animations. Pretty excited about that. And that is the updates that we have for now. Pretty freaking exciting. Hearing that pre-alpha 5 is coming and that it's the last pre-alpha, so we're super close now. He said that when he said it was coming soon, he said, you know, they're going to wrap everything up this summer. So it could be towards the end of summer, it could be July, it could be right in the middle of summer, right? But we will know a few weeks in advance, and of course, you can guarantee I'll be updating you and letting you know when that happens. Now, here's what I would like to see in addition. Give us a little room this time, since it's the last pre-alpha, right? Give us a little wiggle room on the NDA, right? Let's record some footage or something. You know what I mean? You can say no live streaming if you want, but you can record the footage and use that. Or something. Give us something. Give us a little bit of wiggle room. I think they should on this pre-alpha. And if they don't feel comfortable with doing it here on pre-alpha 5, then at least give us some wiggle room in alpha. They've said it before that they would like to do that, and I think it's important to let people make some content and make some, information and gameplay footage and things for others to see outside of that testing window. Maybe not. I could be wrong. I'm not a developer, but in my opinion, I think they should give a little bit of wiggle room on the NDA. And of course, I'm biased because I run a channel that we talk about Pantheon all day, so, you know, I'm a little biased. Of course, I want to be able to do that. Of course I do. But anyway, guys, that's the update for May. I hope you enjoyed. That's everything they covered. Pretty exciting, man. We're definitely moving a day closer. We're definitely a day closer. We're many days closer at this point. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video today. And, of course, if you're not already subscribed to the Nathan Napalm channel, please consider doing that. This is what we do here. We update, we talk about Pantheon, we deep dive, all that kind of thing. So please consider subscribing to the channel. And until next time, guys, God bless and happy gaming. Please listen to what I say. I've been making videos all day. My friends all say I'm it's a video buffet. You can even hit replay. But please just subscribe. I can't even describe being part of my tribe. I'll even offer you a prize. But just please just subscribe and hit the bell notification too.